Pizza delivery drivers? What was the most fucked up place you've ever stopped at? I worked as a delivery driver for a small Italian restaurant near campus during my first semester of college. It wasn't a glamorous gig, but it paid the bills and gave me an excuse to avoid some of the campus chaos. Most deliveries were straightforward. A couple of pizzas to a dorm, maybe a party house with a dozen kids, sometimes a family. But then there was the one delivery that completely threw me for a loop. It was a chilly Friday night in early fall, the kind of night when everyone was either nursing a hangover or gearing up for one. My shift was winding down, and the orders had slowed to a trickle. Then the ticket came in, 12 large pizzas. It caught my attention immediately because orders that size weren't exactly common from our usual crowd. I packed the pizzas carefully into my car, making sure none got smushed. The address was in a nice suburban neighborhood about 10 minutes from the restaurant. Quiet streets, well-kept lawns, the kind of place where you'd expect people to be settling down for the weekend, not hosting ragers. The name on the order was some guy's, Michael something. No last name on the ticket, just a phone number. I drove over, the warm pizza smell filling the car, and pulled up to a big 2-story house with soft porch lights glowing through the windows. There were a few cars parked out front, but nothing crazy. I figured a dozen pizzas could feed a decent-sized group, maybe a birthday or a small party. I grabbed the pizzas and walked up to the door, ready to call or knock. The door opened before I could even raise my hand, and a guy in his early 40s was standing there. He was wearing jeans and a plain t-shirt, hair a bit messy, looking like he'd been on his feet for a while. He smiled and said, "Hey, you must be the pizza guy. Thanks for getting here so quick." I smiled back and said, "Yeah, just trying to keep the orders moving." He invited me inside, so I stepped in, balancing the stack of boxes. The house was surprisingly tidy, but something felt different. There was this undercurrent of awkwardness mixed with ease. As I walked through the kitchen into the living room, I could see groups of people talking, laughing, holding drinks. Not the usual college party chaos or family gathering. People were dressed nicely but comfortably, a few couples close, others chatting casually. I looked at Michael and said, "Looks like a pretty big party." He laughed and said, "Yeah, actually, this is our first swingers party." I blinked, caught off guard. "Swingers party?" "Yeah," he said with a grin. "Wanted to make sure everyone had plenty of food. 12 pizzas should cover it." I stood there for a second, trying to process what he just said. This wasn't some wild porno scene or a scandalous night out, just a group of people hosting a swingers party, normal folks wanting to have a good time, and they called a tiny pizza place near a college campus for the food. I set the pizzas down on the counter, noticing the calm way everyone mingled. People were smiling, relaxed, and genuinely seemed to be enjoying themselves. The music was low, the lighting soft but warm. It wasn't raucous or chaotic, just a mellow gathering with an unusual twist. Michael asked if I wanted a slice, but I politely declined, not wanting to intrude on their night. Before I left, I shook his hand and thanked him. As I stepped back outside, I realized how much my assumptions about what a swingers party looked like were shaped by media and stereotypes. This was just a group of adults having a different kind of social night, nothing flashy or over the top. I got back in my car and sat for a moment, thinking about how this small delivery was a peek into a world I knew almost nothing about. The pizzas were just pizza, but the people, the scene, it was a reminder that everyone's life has layers you don't see on the surface. I drove back to the restaurant feeling kind of amazed. That night stuck with me, not because anything crazy happened, but because it was so normal and so unexpected all at once. Sometimes, the strangest deliveries aren't about danger or weirdness. They're just about stepping briefly into someone else's world, pizza in hand, and realizing how many different kinds of normal there really are.